The dollar is nothing but a promissory note. It's backed by nothing.
Yeah.
So what they can do is inflate it, they can deflate it, they can orchestrate boom-bust cycles, collapse the economy, put people into bankruptcy, take their homes. It's an utter slavery system. But when you go to God's gold-backed system, it has intrinsic value.
Ladies and gentlemen, to my right is Larry Ballard, the one and only, a proud author and panelist here at the Quantum Summit 2024 in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Larry, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me today. This is day 2 of the conference. You spoke up on stage day 1. You made some wonderful points. You're holding your book, which
There it is, folks.
Excellent. And the name of the title?
Liberty Crusade: The Fight to Save the Free World.
And what is this book about?
It's about my lifetime journey. I died in 1968, and God said, here's your assignment. You're going to travel the world. Not just anywhere, not just any time, but to key locations at key times. So, for example, I was in China 2 days before Tiananmen Square. I was there. I was in Europe during the formation of the European Union. I worked for a French firm over there for several years. I was in Canada, where I worked for Atomic Energy Canada, and I experienced not only nuclear energy there, but also socialized medicine and what that really meant. It's basically a trap. So anyway, I did that. I had every job I ever had. God said you can change jobs every 3 years. I worked for Monsanto. Can you guys figure out why God would have me there?
Monsanto?
Yeah, I learned what GMOs were very early before anybody knew, and I knew what they were going to do. I knew they were going to get rid of the heirloom seeds, and they were going to put us in a situation where they could control another one of the necessities of life. They control energy, which is oil. They control our food supply. They control the distribution center. So basically, God was walking me around the world showing me this is how the enemy is going to put the stranglehold around my people. And I'm going to give you that knowledge. So at the appointed time, which was a long time ago, he said, when your hair is salt and pepper, then your door will open. I've been at this studying, preparing for 56 years. First assignment, read the Bible cover to cover. Second assignment, read the Quran cover to cover. Third assignment, read in a plethora of different venues. Climatology, sociology, anthropology, psychology, mostly history. I had to become an historian. So my platform is based on doing something that does not allow the enemy to call me a conspiracy theorist. It's based on the Bible, which is 70% history, and our lineage of history. So what I do with my platform is anytime there's a current event, I can jump right into it and go back how many years I need to, 50, 100, 200, 1,000 years, and start to lay the network of breadcrumbs together, see the pattern, put the pieces together, and say, now, folks, if this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened, and if these circumstances are in alignment with those events, this is what probably is going to come out of that, and this is probably why they're doing it, and this is probably how you want to react to it.
Because you're basing your thesis, like let's say for instance, given right now what's going on in the economy, are you able to notice patterns that have occurred, like you mentioned, 50, 100, 200 years ago? What could you refer to or reference that is occurring today that has occurred in the past?
Well, my presentation yesterday opened with something that I think people need to get their heads around. We are being divided, not just America, the whole world. And if we can't get our heads around the fact that there's not one sovereign nation left in the world, we are controlled by a single global government. And if we can't understand the big picture, we can't understand geopolitics. So I opened up and said, they make drastic changes and people can't get their heads around what they do. They gave power to England for 300 years. Then they said, now we got all the money, we got all the land, now we need somebody to protect it. We need a military police force. Let's give the power to America. Then they said, America's getting too strong. We need to give the power to China, and we need to set up a completely new kind of government. We need to set up a government that is a super hybrid communist capitalist government with all the ingenuity and all the money of capitalism, but the control of communism. And where we are now that relates to every single news story we're in is we're in the final phase. We're on death ground. Now they're going to collapse China. They're going to break the global supply chain. They're going to deglobalize militarize the world, which takes away the ability to strangle us, and they're also going to de-dollar us, and that's BRICS. So the final step in this process of the effort to get the reset, which is not going to fall to the bad guys, but to God's kingdom, is to basically collapse the global financial system in hopes that the people will become so desperate that they'll just surrender. That's not going to happen. It's going to wake the people up. Here's what's happened in that lineage of time. They pushed, we woke up a little bit, they retreated. We pushed, they retreated. Then one Donald J. Trump came onto the scene, and they said, he's a buffoon, he can't get elected. He came in, he upset their apple cart, and they accelerated their plan. They gave us COVID, they put all these things on us, and it was a full bore. They knew they had to win and could not let him back into the presidency. So they pushed so far, so hard, that all of the world has woken up. And when we wake up, we're 8 billion people. There are only a few million. They cannot stand against us. India got its freedom by not firing one shot. They focused around Mahatma Gandhi, who was a lawyer and a very spiritual man, and he said, we will break the backbone of England by not participating in their economic system. England buckled and gave them their freedom. America is about to do the same thing.
You know, here we are in a moment in time where there's a paradigm shift of finance, or the way that people communicate with each other, underpinned by these new software, social media platforms, decentralized technologies. Let's just say D for all the above. There's just an interesting time right now where either good or bad parties could take control of it's really interesting which narrative is going to win, and which party, which good or bad, is going to take shape, or what are they going to do with this new technology, we'll call it blockchain. But why I'm bringing this up or stumble upon these words is, you know, here we are, China's releasing the digital yuan. Some central banks are flighting to buying gold. Is this because of the world is moving away from the petrodollar? What do you think is causing or empowering these trends?
Fiat currency is collapsing. We're going to God's economic system, which is based on gold, silver, and a variety of other commodities. Think of it this way. When they've got a fiat currency, the dollar is nothing but a promissory note. It's backed by nothing. Yeah. So what they can do is inflate it, they can deflate it, they can orchestrate boom-bust cycles, collapse the economy, put people into bankruptcy, take their homes. It's an utter slavery system. But when you go to God's gold-backed system, it has intrinsic value. A shipload of wheat has intrinsic value. A shipload of coal has intrinsic value. They can't manipulate it. The only thing we need then to have that control mechanism shift to us is the ability to turn those things into things that we can buy and sell with throughout the entire world. That means we've got to go to a digital economy, and XRP is what's going to allow that. So think of a boatload of wheat. You couldn't go and buy a loaf of bread with that boatload of wheat, but if you can break it down into infinitesimal small pieces, which you can do with XRP, you can buy a portion of a Rembrandt, you can buy a portion of anything you want. That's the economy. That economy does not allow them to inflate or deflate or cause boom-bust cycles. It gives control to the people. The only thing we have to do is make sure that they are not allowed to set a central bank digital currency. The central banks are falling, and they have to fall. And they also brought that on themselves, because what they did with COVID is they wanted to break us. They're breaking themselves. They put us in lockdown, and they sent us all stimulus checks. That took the liquidity out of the central banking system. The central banking system has fallen, and now we're going back to where we were supposed to be, the Treasury. We're going back to being sovereign nations with our own money that's backed by something of value. And that's why we're going to win and they're going to lose. But besides, we have this guy called God on our side. And I think he's going to trump the situation.
I see what you did there. Larry, let's talk about your platform for a hot second, because I know we're going to be kicking off the conference here. What is your platform, and how can others or those in the audience learn more about your platform or find it?
Okay, first, the book. I want to tell you a story about this. I put it out to every...
Show them the front cover.
Okay, sorry. I put this out to every major publisher in the country. Turned me down, flat. Then I got a call from Harrison House, who had turned me down. And the lady says, Larry, did you did you get that book published? She says, nope, don't answer that. She said, you told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and never published that book. She said, but I'm leaving Harrison House, and as an editor, I read your book. She said, it needs to be out there. She said, I have a chain of small Christian bookstores. I'm going to publish your book for you for nothing. So miracle after miracle is happening now. I started off just doing other people's platforms. I'm most frequently on Into the Prophetic on Rumble. I'm not on YouTube anywhere because I will not tone down my message. I'm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I will not be censored. So I'd say go there. And Mel Carmine has just asked me to co-host with him. So if any of you who follow him on Rumble, you can find me there. And this book can only be found on Amazon.
Awesome.
And I'm about to launch my own platform down here for some tutelage because I'm not real technically inclined, but I'm going to leave here knowing how to do that. So soon I'll have my own channels.
Excellent. Well, I just recently launched my own channel, which I would love to invite you to come and speak to my audience once again. And let's dive into your book next time a little bit deeper, maybe through all the chapters if possible. Well, actually, before you leave, do you have any extra copies?
I'll get you one. I got 3 here that I promised the people this morning, but I'll get you one for the day's over.
You know what? I'll order one on Amazon, and I'll drop a link to those in the audience so they can also, if they're interested in learning more or reading the book in real time alongside me, I'll put the link in the description of this video below so you guys can also purchase the book. And let's hold it up one more time. This is Larry Ballard's, what's the name of the title?
Liberty Crusade. Fight to save the free world.
Liberty Crusades, fight to
save the free world.
Boom, excellent. Larry. Well,
and what I would say, Ray, is we don't want to go through this book chapter to chapter. There's too much happening right now. You need to buy it so that you're informed, but when you educate me, what we need to do is jump on all of the key things that are happening today. We're in the pivot point in history. We need to stay on top of the late breaking news. And what I do that nobody else I know of does, they'll come into a news cycle, they'll talk about what's happening today, and I go back and I say, why is this happening? Yeah. What are the 10 events that led us up to this? Why are we in this spot? How do we react? What do we do? That's what's got value. This is not interactive, but you need this to get your mindset to where you can understand what's going on.
Excellent. Larry, well said. Thank you for your time. Have a great...
Thank you, Ray.
Have a great rest of your time in Cape Canaveral.
Will, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to CarminesGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me personally? There's an economy that's about to crash beyond what words can explain. In 5 words, I'm going to educate you on gold and silver. Are you ready? You need to own some. Simple. Time is of the essence as the walls are closing in. This crash is visibly in motion right now. Don't kid yourself. The only way to preserve wealth is to become your own central bank. Just by owning gold and silver, the banks that are going into survival mode are currently stacking gold and silver like it's going out of style. You have the same opportunity instead of keeping your money in paper, which is worthless. Again, this is not financial advice. Going into survival mode is everything. Preserving your wealth and positioning your family to thrive in the near future is paramount. The time to take action is beyond crucial. God's money cannot be faked. It's got intrinsic value. It's got plenty of usability. And because the crypto game could be extremely complicated for most, this becomes the only way to preserve your wealth in the current times we live in. The price manipulation that has occurred over the last 150 years is about to come to a full stop as we move into an extremely different world. And the true value of gold and silver is going to shine like never before. The people who vividly see what's happening have moved into panic buying right now. The people who get it, who are positioned for wealth preservation, who are accumulating every week, every month, stand to change their course of history for 100 generations to come. Buying gold and silver from CarminesGold.com at unbeatable prices is the best decision you'll ever make. I'm going to end by saying this. This is my opinion and not financial advice. This crash is knocking on the door, and it's clear. It's here. We can fill any size order, $500, $500,000, and yes, even $10 million. Your best option to preserve wealth, if you don't understand cryptocurrency, is gold and silver. Do it now.